Nobody takes it seriously till now. We have all the flagship policy program. We have also a guideline policy of DPIIT for higher educational institution on IPR management. Even Government of India instituted a intellectual property chair professor in the university also. So unquote, education disseminate known knowledge, research converts money into knowledge, innovation converts knowledge into money. That I will speak today from history to present. And it is a time for all of us to nurture, leverage and inspire. The other day I was telling my daughter, "Beta, aapko ye padhna hai." So she told me, "Don't tell me. I will not read. I will do whatever I like." Now she is telling, she will run a old age home. Earlier she had a dream that she will be a ISRO scientist, but I think my friend Babu is here. He saw her. So now she is telling that I will not study, I will not go abroad, I will take care of my parents and also old age home. This is her last time, birthday. She told, I will not give birthday, I will do whatever you want to give, I will go to serve them. So this is something, the mindset, change of mindset of our new generation. And they are very, very emotionally connected to us. Every children is the ornament to their parents. So we have a Kalam IP awareness program, Kapila. For that, every institution has a institutional innovation council. You can also get, suppose if you don't need any support from us, you can also get a Kapila funding from filing a patent. But let me also tell you and request you and urge you. Since I am at Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh, I have more responsibility to the state and also to the nation. So nation is always fast, but state should also, we should create that momentum. पहले IPR में कोई सुनता नहीं था, आज मेरे ऑफिस में सबसे ज्यादा गेस्ट आते हैं. मेरे लिए चाय देना भी मुश्किल हो जाता है, because I am sitting in a beautiful place at Rusikunda beach. So here the momentum has come. People are understanding now, protecting their IP. So any startup, any MSME, any individual can take the support without any bias. We will support and help and also file and also pay for that. You need not to pay from your pocket. We have, government has that money for that activity. So that we have to promote our startup also, that is very, very important. So IP and youth for innovating for a better future. Always we talk, but that has not percolated to our young mass. Still we are lacking. I am not going to discuss and deliberate that part. But we have to understand that India is marching towards innovation. The Global Innovation Index from 81 ranked to now 46. Certainly we are achieving, because Prime Minister of India always talked about innovation in every forum. He realized, and we have indicators, 46. Let me also inform you that in the recent past I had got an opportunity getting a fellowship at Copenhagen Business School. While going to stage like this, somebody was announcing India Global Innovation Index is 46. मुझे अब जाने के लिए मन ही नहीं लगा. 46, the second largest populated country in the world, with all, I think, more than 950. And we compliance all the norm of WTO, and now we have compliance all WTO regulation on intellectual property framework, and we are TRIPS compliance, trade-related aspect of intellectual property rights. And also, the innovator, inventor, creator must recognize, rewarded, and also there should be a benefit sharing of the commercialization of intellectual property. Then only we can bring both Lakshmi and Saraswati together. In Greeks, if a cook invents a delicious new dish, no other cook is to be allowed to prepare the dish for the 1 year. And during this time, only the inventor shall reap the commercial profit from his dish. This will motivate others to work hard and compete in such invention. So Galileo, you know Galileo, and he got a patent in 1474, and for his patent, and that patent is related to device for rising water. Then India IP ecosystem certainly came from a British era, and from 1856 of UK Act, Protection of Invention, to 2020 the new policy, the law for Indian Patent Act, where women can also get an opportunity and expedite of patent application to promote entrepreneurship among the women and also rising the bar of discrimination. We have a Kiran IPR program, we have a Kiran scientist, we have a program director who run Kiran across the country, who got National Nari Shakti Awards in particularly on this. And last 2 months back, I was in the one of the committee of CGPTTM to do the interview to the women scientists, particularly for patent attorney. I was privileged for that opportunity because that connect. Some of my personal issues at my family level, but certainly I did justice to some of the women who came from Bangalore to Chennai by bus to appear the interview and left their kids 2 years, 3 years kids at Bangalore पहुंचना है. क्योंकि उसके बाद मेरे कहने का मतलब ये है कि how to mitigate the challenge, how we can support in a ecosystem something in a innovative way to anyone, any citizen of India. Since we are working for knowledge-intensive activities, we must have to support them. So that kind of ecosystem we have developed. And India as a country has taken IP both in bilateral and multilateral level in many challenges and also proactive. Now we have a mandate of United Nations Sustainable Development Goal we have to achieve by 2030. And in that all, particularly hunger, good health, quality education, all this we need innovation. We have seen every challenge there is opportunities. We have seen how Covaxin came, how tracing, testing and treating of COVID-19 product came. So every challenge make us comfortable to mitigate such a challenge, and we did it, and that's the resilience we have created. And in that, all this partnership program we are talking about, we are part of it. We need to connect Skill India, Make in India, Digital India, Innovate India. Now we are talking about self-reliance India. Policy perspectives, even a professor can create a startup today. We have a National Innovation Startup Policy 2019, which is a guiding framework for higher educational institutions. That's the topic today we are discussing about sustainability. How to sustain our ecosystem. Because our ecosystem, majority of our colleges are self-financed. But we must not depend on student fees. How we can create a sustainable ecosystem so that we can mitigate the challenge. We have seen in the COVID, many of my classmates, those who are working with the self-finance institute, they could not get their salary on time. So that is one of the challenge. How we can create a momentum, what we talked about, the global innovation ecosystem, what we see in Silicon Valley or Oxford University, or many of the universities we talked about, how we can create that kind of ecosystem in our Indian institution. That is important, and that we need to create. And some of the universities are really making us proud, including Sri Krishna Deva Raya University, because this is, I will take into the next level, which I used to deliberate, but this kind of momentum, very few institutions are doing in a great heart, a great objective, and great mind. So friends, Institutional Innovation Council came, and we are part of that. And yesterday, Yashwantji was telling me, "Yaar, Sahu, there was a Institutional Innovation Council, Vice Chancellor was chairing, but the Institutional Innovation Council coordinator do not know the full form of IIC. That means हमको जबरदस्ती नहीं करना है. For the sake of name and fame or number game, we must not do. वो दिन गया. We have to reorient ourselves. We have to change our mindset. We have to change our mindset as per the demand of time. और वो वक्त अभी है. Because we have to bring both Lakshmi and Saraswati together. अगर घर में खाना नहीं है, बीवी भी मारती है. So we have to realize, we have to make satisfied to all our children, family, parents, because दो रोटी हमको चाहिए. और दो रोटी कैसे हम कमा के खाएं? That is very, very important. That's the need of our today. In many ideas, some of my good friends are here who have many of the ideas. They are not only making us proud when we are presenting their activity at global arena, we also get that responsibility and opportunity. So, how to bring Lakshmi and Saraswati, you can see. One of the technology developed by the lady scientist, along with her research scholar, standing right to me, and that technology was patented because patent is nothing but creating value and extracting value. So that investor come and forward and put the money for that. The investor is nothing, no other than a woman lady from Andhra Pradesh. Came from US and she is heading Bhatrogen Biological Private Limited, and we licensed this technology which was patented, and today the product is in the market and million people are getting benefit as far as the nutraceutical aspect for our eye or this lutein is concerned. So from this technology not only transferred from a lab, that product will come to the mass, people will get benefit, scientists may be retired but get the royalty over her creativity and invention. And also the researcher, the lady who got married, got a beautiful husband, now enjoying her life and also getting the royalty over the product what they created. And we are collecting the royalty and sharing with the institution and the inventor. That is the IPR, benefit sharing to the nation and nation building and also towards self-reliance and nothing but bringing Lakshmi and Saraswati together. So UGC has asked all the university, we have to be 3 idiots, whether you might have seen this movie or not, we have to be a Fansumangu, not Chaturamalingam, because we need skilled innovation. We have to connect our emotion with our profession, and that's the NEP 2020 talks about, on knowledge, on own language, so that, because my good friend from Japan is here, many Chinese, they are acquired because they know their language and they convert their idea into that language and market it, and today they are global power. So that we need to understand and create the momentum of the global economy, and also create IP as because intellectual property is a tool globally which is a monopoly right. That we need to create, and we have to develop and increase our Indian innovation index. Every state innovation index came out in the recent time. We have to part of that and create that, because technology, innovation is always market driven, invention driven, and technology driven. So we must have to protect, because if we are not protecting, tomorrow knowingly or unknowingly we might be infringing other intellectual property. So that's the strategy we need to develop, and also create a challenge or create an opportunity like this in mitigating the challenge of our own region. We are facing many difficulties, and university is a place to solve that kind of problem, because it is a knowledge hub. Many ideas are there. So we have to look into that aspect so that we can strengthen Indian Innovation Index and also create a beautiful ecosystem, how technology transfer benefiting society and economy. I have time, sir?
Yeah, you have time, but you can take rest for a while.
Sir will come.
Yes. Also, be punishment then.
In next 10 minutes, let me finish so that momentum has come. Right. So that after that, sir can take it. Then I will get time and I will go out and
have coffee.
Yeah, sure. So our role is bridging the gap between R&D, institution and industry. We have the technology, like Pawan is here, who has developed one technology, who has a patent, who gets awarded with SKU. So see how various players are playing an important role. We are not doing, we are just connecting. We are the connecting partner. And here we have to connect with each other. Then only we can create our strength. So we source the technology from various institutions, individual, NGOs, academia, and also we do all kind of value addition. Other than technology commercialization, we do seed funding, technology development, incubation services. We do pilot plant studies, IP protection. We give all kind of IP, not confined to patent. All kind of IP, including patent, trademark, design, copyright, and also we do market survey. Suppose if you are claiming, one boy from Odisha who has got a STU funding here, and suppose he is telling that his product has a market in the market opportunity, we will do a market survey from an independent organization so that we can get a clear picture. Feasibility also, whether that technology is feasible for or not, that is also important, and also prototype. In that respect, many of the inventors from Andhra Pradesh also got techno-commercial support. Many technology related to COVID-19, and and some of the women entrepreneurs, women scientists, particularly those who are getting awarded from TIFR, are also working with us, and now they are managing our intellectual property and advising to many of the knowledge sector today of the knowledge economy. So, sir, I have taken this slide. So this is your copyright. So innovation is a long-term health of economy. जिस पेड़ का जड़ जितना मजबूत होता है, उस पेड़ इतना हर घड़ी को संभालते रहता है. So जड़ कहाँ है? हमारा एकेडमिया. Academics need to strengthen. We need to create the skill and skilled manpower, because next economy or the economy we are talking about, Industry 4.0, will be completely driven by different kind of skill. So more than 45% people has to be reoriented towards that skill, and that was the advice from Niti Aayog. And there is also a report from Parliamentary Committee of Cabinet on intellectual property. The IPR legislation framework we need to adopt in higher educational institutions. So we have to leverage, inculcate, and also protect, manage, and monetize intellectual property rights created by our people at academia. Because intellectual property is the biggest challenge to the nation at both multilateral level, bilateral level, and also at institutional level. How institutional level? You might be knowing one of the vice chancellor of one of the premier institute, University of India, caught in plagiarism, infringement of IP. He was sent to jail for 1 month. He was a very, very pragmatic professor, but knowingly or unknowingly there is a mistake. And we are talking about right, legal right. आपको जाना है. आप तो खत्म हो गए, आपका यूनिवर्सिटी का नाम भी खत्म हो गया. हर कोई डिस्कस करेगा, अरे यार ये हो गया, उस इंस्टीट्यूट में ये हो गया, उस प्रोफेसर ने वो काम कांड कर दिया. ये चल रहा है. So that is that reality today. So and because of that, private sector are not putting more in R&D, because आज ये बनाएगा, दूसरे दिन copycat हो जाएगा. So that is one of the challenge. And also in the recent time, US government gives India the priority watch list. It's called Special 301 provision before India. That means the country violated intellectual property. So there are other issues, and access to plant genomic research. We have seen how biopiracy has occurred in India, and also issues of patenting on neem, haldi. So that must not repeat again. So we have to balance. And under Article 27 of Universal Declaration of Human Rights, everyone has the right to the protection of the moral and material interest resulting from any scientific, literary, and artistic production of which he is served. When I was in JNU during 2002, 2001 time, one of the professors who told me, "Arey yaar, patent karke kya fayda hai?" He did not file patent at that time. His junior became a vice chancellor, but he retired as a professor. Because market has changed, demand has changed, mindset has changed. So we need to reorient. We have to create, protect, and also exploit all kind of IP, and we have to create in our all research and development, we must have to incorporate IP, so that the right of the author, right of the inventor, right of the scientist should be there, so that she can proudly say that I have developed this product. We must have to recognize, we must have to reward, we must have to monetize, and also that is supremacy in the field of invention of the sector. So we have to integrate intellectual property into our business practice, ornamentation, goodwill gesture, branding, and also training to our students, our academics, our administrative people to understand the role of IP in various aspects, so that human resource and also the monetization of intellectual property created by the university must be strengthened and collaborate with like-minded organizations and also create the value. And Industry 4.0, many innovations come from various geographical locations. The inventor must be rewarded, and we have to look into that, how the IPR relevant to Industry 4.0, and we have to take that. And we must look not only government-sponsored research program or grant-in-aid program, we must look for contract research, which is not happening in India. The collaborative research, very less in India. I would like to tell you one of the very interesting incident when we had a study on China, Korea, Taiwan innovation. We visited this country and we visited one of the university in Beijing. The old professor who is 59, 60 was sitting in a common room, but young professor who was just 27 years having all kind of variety, quality of room, because he got many projects. He has created 20, 30 jobs. He has got funding to the institution in creating infrastructure. So that is need of the hour, and that is nothing but bringing academia industry together, and also the benefit sharing and of the commercialization and monetization of intellectual property. So you innovate, we are there to protect you. That's my strength here, and also we have transfer and commercialize more than 5,000 indigenous technology, not only in India, in various countries also. We have established Indian Technology Demonstration Center in Africa, Ivory Coast, Mozambique, Ghana, and many more opportunities we are trying to develop so that we can scale up, validate, and commercialize the technology, and also increase the level of technology from lab scale to commercial viable scale as far as the technology readiness level is concerned, and also mitigate the challenge of technology value of death and commercialization of value of death. And in that, we must not focus on technology readiness level, but whether our technology which is ready for commercialization has a market demand or not. We must look the market readiness level. We must have to understand the societal readiness level, whether society will accept that technology or not. And also we have to see the freedom to operate readiness level, whether the technology has a demand in the market or freedom in the market to reach out. All these aspects we need to do, and that we do as an organization at Apex ecosystem of governance of technology transfer as far as the innovation readiness level is concerned. Some of our startups from Andhra Pradesh, they are not making us proud. They are proud for not only for the nation and nation building, which we are part of their activities at Visakhapatnam. And we have to recognize the inventor, the budding innovator. They may not be able to know any language, but how to connect the dots. We have to respect them. We have to recognize them. We have to connect them. Then only they can make. And also capacity building is most important today. Bringing all the academics leaders in one platform like this. And many of the opportunities we can create, because jo dikhta hai wo bikta hai. And this is Dr. Hiroke, you can see one of the Japanese lady is sitting in my room, and this is one of the startup from Andhra Pradesh, and they have a beautiful product today, and they got funding from Government of India, and this person has I think more than 45 people are working in his company. Seeing is believing at Andhra Pradesh only. So I have taken few case studies. So this is something I thought I should connect you, and also Nari to Narayan. Dr. Yashwant is having this program. They do train to this woman scientist every year, and he will talk because that is his mission. But I am branding it because I am also here. So this is a program that only, and also we have to brand our product, any product, Indian product, at global arena, because vocal for local, jo dikhta hai wo bikta hai. This is Pondaru Khadi. I took into Denmark, I took into Netherlands, I presented many of the leaders, and when Prime Minister of India also visited, they themselves told to Indian officials that one of the officers came and presented many GI products. And this is Araku coffee, you can see, and this is Araku coffee connected to my communities, my people, my root. If we promote, certainly there is a benefit sharing, and that will reach to the common people. And some of the startups are making us proud, giving smiling to these communities. So that's our mandate, and also supporting to the startup in their startup journey, in funding, connecting, and also women towards women entrepreneurship, those who are making us proud, and also to the defense ecosystem. And I also look after WIPO Technology Innovation Support Center. We do many international activities, technology promotion, technology landscape, technology commercial support, and we are connecting the dot to the MSME, industries, startup, and government in the country And also, I will not talk about this issues of legal issues. Particularly, you might be knowing Delhi University there was the issue of photocopy of various publications. That was the copyright issues. But certainly, your support making us proud to stand before you. Last year we got National Award from Government of India as the Best Innovation Center. And we have been trying to reach out in blue economy, because Prime Minister of India has a blue economy vision. And there is a deep sea mission is also there. We transfer and commercialize many technology to the nation in various strategic sectors that technology will be useful. And our Indian people will, Indian company are making that product for the nation to mitigate the challenge. And friends, we have to connect the dot, bringing academia and industry together. And I'm certainly grateful that you have given me this opportunity. And it is the time for all of us to understand the problem is never how to get new, innovative thought into our mind, but how to get the old one out. We have to change as per the demand of time. That's the vision, dream of our founding fathers: self-reliance, homegrown ideas, and entrepreneurship. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. My mobile number, email ID is there. For any kind of support, you are most welcome. Let's connect the dots, join hands, make the difference. God bless you. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.
So you finally unleashed the crocodile. So thank you very much for that. Actually, I asked for a burger, but he has given me the complete Nellore food, before food meals. So thank you very much for that. And you have taken us, globally, then brought it back to India, which is a certain very, valid examples. And also, one of the things that touched in your talk was women-centric programs. In fact, I would like to place it on record here. Among the 26 Atal Incubation Centers that were selected by Niti Aayog and GIC Germany, Atal Incubation Center Sri Krishnadevara University is only among the 2 incubation centers that got recognition as women-centric incubation center, because we have undergone the training process to orient our policies to programs, to the funding, everything to bring the gender neutrality. It's not gender apathy, but it's to empower women, especially local women, small towns and villages, to be in par with global standards and par with the men, so that they can, in fact, give their best to the country. So thank you very much for that, touching up on many points. So Dr. Shant, you would like to follow the suit?
Yes, sir. So I think you may be women-centric.
Sorry to just, so dikta hai, right? So we have someone to show off one thing, right? So out of this women-centric incubation program, one of the first steps we did was, we had engaged a local NGO called Adi Foundation, Anantapur Development Initiative. This is an initiative by alumni of SKU. They have sponsored 2 women for us, in our incubation center, to help us build a better ecosystem. So sponsorship is Shaheen and Dr. Jyoti. So one is the Entrepreneur in Residence program and Mentor in Residence program. The first incubator in the country to do that. And NGO sponsored a 1-year program. So we're training them to become better incubation managers. Because we are going to have many incubators here. They all need leaders. So thank you. Thanks for giving that.
No, yes. Thank you. I think I'm very proud of. Yes?
Can I have a quick question?
After the session, can you have
Just hold. Dr. Ashwin is holding for some time.
So note down. So you don't forget, because after 30 minutes, you should say, I don't remember the question.
And I noted down, sir.
Okay, great. So hopefully you get an answer.
We have.
So thank you, Dr. Sahu, for really impressive history. Actually, I could define this as the history of future. It's not a real history. So I think we can't do much about the history because it's already gone by. We can learn some lesson on the and future we don't know, and present is not in our hands, because every moment we live in present is a past immediately. So we don't have time to capture the present. So you asked me to talk about the future of IPR in the next 25 years. And the technology is going to play a very, very important role in all forms of intellectual property rights, because it affects everybody, every one of us, including all the species of human, animal, plant life, as well as going to affect the species of intellectual property as well. As Sao has already, Dr. Sao has talked about some frontier areas, so I can take this opportunity to invade into his area also to talk some history about intellectual property. Okay? I think permission is granted by the moderator, so I can probably talk about that. See, we always think that we have not been doing, we were oblivious to intellectual property. A lot of examples from Ramayana, Mahabharata and all given, but we can take a real example from our Indian system and Indian luminaries who really utilized and monetized intellectual property as an institution, as an individual. And one example I would like to take is, see, when we talk about intellectual property rights, we say patent, technology, and all of us are revolving around patent. Patent is not only intellectual property. You have different form, you have a copyright, design. And how many of you are aware of Gitanjali? I think everybody should raise a hand. Gitanjali was the work of Guru Rabindranath Tagore, and it was a copyrighted work. And the most part of the expenditure of Vishwa Bharati University was met from the royalty from Gitanjali. So copyright of one book actually sustained the university for many years. An issue came into force in 1991 when the copyright of Guru Rabindranath Tagore was expiring, because this author's life was 50 years in India. And university pleaded to the government, oh, what we will do, from where we will be get funds, because copyright will expire and we will not get funds. So the copyright was extended by the government of India for another 10 years, and that's now available to all of us, author's life plus 60 years. That's a historical moment where university met a lot of expenditure, most of the expenditure from copyright. And Watanabe-san is here. So if all of us see Toyota company, big automobile company, if we go into the history of it, I think you should agree that Mr. K.T. Toyota, who had a patent on weaving machines, and that patent led to this Toyota company, because he could send his son to Britain to study automobile and come back and establish the automobile industry, and we all flourished around the globe, and it started from one patent. Do you agree? So the history makes future. So that's why it was very important to talk about history. The Honorable Prime Minister from Rampart of Red Fort has declared that India to be developed nation by 2025. And I firmly believe that without technology, it's not possible for us to attain that goal. And if we need to handle technologies, the intellectual property rights are going to play a crucial role. Not only patents, but other forms as well. Be it be plant varieties, be it be semiconductor layout design, geographical indication now. A lot of traction has happened in this country, and I firmly believe in another 10 years we'll be at another level with the efforts of different agencies. So if we have to peep into future, so there's a lot of futurologists. How many of you have read a book called Future Shock? Anybody? Okay, that's just, then I can't talk about the third wave when Power Safe was written that same author to look into futures. And can you believe the author of this power safe predicted in 1970 in his third book that by 2050 all the white collar job will be performed from home. So he said by 2050 all white collar job will be performed from home, and internet was not in existence at that point of time. Internet was not in existence in public. He made that forecast about the technology, and we preponed a bit because of the pandemic 2020. We learned a lot to work from home, and the white collar jobs got started performing from home. So looking into future is a systematic method, and we did these exercises, technology vision 2020, 2035, and I'll not go into this. I think if we take this call of being developed country by 2047, okay. See, when we talk about intellectual property rights and develop a country and do research, so we can have many approaches to go for a development, and there can be select approaches which I am mentioning here. There can be a collaborative research, and no one can do in this world alone. So you have to have a collaboration in research. You have to join hand together with many people for product development. So in all these activities, I'm not going to read out them. IP is going to play a very, very important role. Very, very important role. Talk about this. This document talks about these collective and individual prerogatives for technological development. So when we talk about patent, what is a patent? In today's discussion, what is a patent? And how do you see a patent as an entity? Anybody? Can we make this little... Yes. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just alright. You can just... Okay. I'll communicate from your side. Don't worry. If you're not speaking up. Patent is nothing but a right given to the legitimate owner to stop others from making, using, selling, or that particular technology. So, why it is given to you? Why? Because you were disclosing it to the government. And what government does? A lot of people used to fear, well, a patent office will leak ho jayega. Patent office publishes, there's no question of leak. And you get it right because you're disclosing. And keep the knowledge in oneself. See, at your home, if you have so many things, you don't know which thing is kept where. Then what is the problem? You don't find that. So, you are organizing the knowledge in the form of patent document. And kind of a knowledge which is vendible, which is a technology, which is functional, and you are classifying and sharing the knowledge with the whole society. It's not actually stopping the disease. We used to say that we want to share the knowledge free of cost. But this is the real approach. By incentivizing creators for limited period through a limited period monopoly. So that is how we need to see. So patent is a technology. It can be a new product, new process. It can be totally new, breakthrough, but breakthroughs are less than 1%. Breakthroughs are less than 1%. So most of the patent would be an improvement of existing process or improvement in existing product. And then there are some countries and some places where mere new use can also get a patent. Like US provide new pharmaceutical use, you get a patent. So patent will consist this, but the question comes when we handle this intellectual property rights is who owns that intellectual property right, where it is valid, and when it will be for all. So after the expiry of 20 years, patent will be for all. So everybody can use that patent. So what I'm saying to you is any patent filed prior to 20 years, you can all you can use in industry free of cost. Can you take that lesson? Can you take that lesson that any patent which was 20-year-old and expired, all of you can use it in your industry when you develop your product. So you necessarily have 10 patents and have your invention, one patent, and have a product in the market. Because one product, one patent is not in reality in all complex technology area when you deal future. See, if you have a mechanical storage of electrical energy, somebody is working here. So you need to have understanding of a technology for flywheel at the highest level, mechanical engineering. Then, if you know, at the same time you need a computer simulation at the highest level. So you have to be computer engineer, you have to be mechanical engineer, and then lightweight material like Kevlar or so if we are using that kind of a material, you have to be material scientist at the highest level. If you are looking for future technology and trying to handle future technologies, you are supposed to deal with variety of high-end technology areas. So no one can do it alone. Everybody has to come together and do it. So the complexity brings you in a fragmented design of development model. So everything has to be put together. So not only patents, copyright. So it forces you to have an original work, but at the same time you can use already protected and you have trademark, very important, as Dr. Sao says, is branding. So branding is the first step to really start utilizing intellectual property rights. When you say AIC, SKU, so it's all since morning you have been doing branding. Actually you are really popularizing your intellectual property. So in some cases there is a registration, some cases without registration, like copyright you have. And then if this SKU AIC runs for 20 years, if there is no registration but nobody can use the name because it has achieved its own position in the society. So by common law also it can be protected as a trademark. So we really need to understand these nitty-gritties of protecting intellectual property for future. So all the principal investigators who work on specific programs or be it incubations, and so if you are doing research, I advise all principal investigators to look into patent information. So PI would be with PI. If you look at patent information regularly, so it avoids your efforts put on reinventing the wheel. So don't always think that you have to patent your inventions. You have to, because if you don't look at what has already been done in a patent and what has already been invented in other parts of the world, you're going to reinvent. In most of the cases, you're going to reinvent the wheel. And to avoid that, I urge all PIs to look at patent information. And if you, if I say mirror image, then the mirror image of PI will be IP, intellectual property rights. So some kind of philosophical thought I wanted to put. Sorry, can I help you go back? Now when we talk about future, future is going to be, Dr. Sahu talked about Industry 4.0 and Mr. Watanabe will talk about the Society 5.0. Or when we conceive this kind of a future of a technology, And they say, he said, we have to work hard. And Dr. Vadarambe joined him to say, we don't want to work. Why should we work? Why human should work? See, what the human has the specialty is intelligence. That's what we vouch for. And the artificial intelligence is going to take over the human intelligence at one point of a time. And it says by 2029, the human intelligence will, the artificial intelligence will be at par with the human intelligence. So if it is at par, what is the difference between machine and us? How do we handle intellectual property rights? All issues of intellectual property rights will change. And it has came into fore in western part of the world. The invention done by artificial intelligence, who would be the owner? No patent can be granted. Will it last for long? Will this thought last for long? No. People will have to come up with the term of technology evolution. And we'll have to devise mechanism. If AI invents, who is going to be the owner? At the moment, with the traditional framework, we don't have. So will this present IP framework sustain? Would be difficult, because with the evolution of the technology, we will have to come up with a new technological framework. Now 3D printing, you have a patent, let's say many items, let's say the household use item, and you have a patent. Now if you are manufacturing a product in a company, let's say a Kia motor factory, if you are manufacturing a product, you can sue the infringement, the company that you are infringing my patent. But if I am able to print your patented product at my home, how do you protect the intellectual property rights? These are new challenges the technology evolution will pose to the IP system. So if you have a patent and everybody has a printer, so it could be like you're printing a research paper of somebody without copyright. How do you enforce intellectual property rights? We will have to devise new mechanism to enforce intellectual property rights in future. So future is not going to be the same in 25 years. So when I say by 29 artificial, so I think we have to change how do we think intellectual property, how do we protect intellectual property rights? We have to really think, and all who you're practicing innovation and working on IP should come up with a new idea how we can really. So if I pose these two challenges, now bitcoins. Now there's a ban on it. Still we are buying bitcoins. Now if you buy a physical good from other countries, so what happens? The consignment comes. So when consignment comes to your country, then you say what is the cost you paid for it, you can inquire, or they can hide partially, but definitely it cannot be undervalued. But if IP transaction happens, if you sell your patent outside the country and you exchange, in exchange you take bitcoins, so it can be hidden. It will never see the government light, public light. So the exchequer may lose a lot on that. So how this intellectual property rights will be sold through Bitcoin. Technology will pose new challenges in future to the whole existing intellectual property system. So if we have to be future ready, and if we talk about next 25 years, ICT is making inroad to all areas of technology and making dent in all areas of technology. If you take your automobile, see, if you look at Europe, automobile industry, 9% of the vehicle cost royalty is sought by patent owners, standard essential patent owners of electronic system in those cars. 9 to 10% of a vehicle. So it's a bigger size engine. Not more innovation happening in automobile industry on engine. Now we are entirely moving from IC engine to motors, where we talk about electric vehicles. So that's a major shift. But if you look at The cars with engine, not much of development, only in electronics. If you look at electric vehicle also, which are the future thing. So IP, where is the IP? Where is the IP? So IP would be in batteries, IP in the charging devices, the electronics. See, the EV battery needs a lot of electronics, power electronics plus IC, softwares, which are able to communicate with your each cell in the battery, each cell in the battery. So the technology landscape is changing. So if we go with a traditional portfolio of intellectual property rights and what I want to invent, if I'm going to invent, then we will not be able to sustain ourselves in the future of intellectual property management and technology development. So if we have to be future ready, we have to change our mindset. We have to change our thought process. And there is no harm in copying all the technologies which are off patent. Why are we not doing that? We should be doing. We should be doing. If we use something, then we will be able to solve the future problem. So it is well said. Every solution is a new problem, has 10 new problems. And every problem has 10 new solutions. So it's a complete cycle. So please solve the problem using somebody's intellectual property rights, which is not enforced, and create your intellectual property rights world on your own, which gives you protection for a certain period of time. And when you lose protection for that, you have to be ready with the next level of the protection. So if you lose one patent, you should have 10 other patents ready for to sustain with that product in the market, because otherwise people will copy. So this will be a vicious game or a vicious cycle which you really have to handle intelligently if you want to really handle future intellectual property rights appropriately. So these are the issues will come. I think how much time we have? How much? Okay.
Yeah. 11:35 now, right? 11:30. We can take another 5 minutes.
Okay. No, okay. I'll not take much time. So what I'll do, I'll leave these slides here so you can look at in different areas of technology in future what you can really protect and through which intellectual property rights. Simply, we talk about cars. We talk about future automobiles. Can the future automobiles be bicycle? See, as a technology forecasting student, I was told in my very first class that future technology is not necessarily new technology. Future technology is not necessarily a new technology. Future technology is a technology which is used in future. So 3,000 year, 4,000 year, 2,000 year old technology can also be used in future. And when we talk about the existence of more technology, which could not be used at that point of the time, because the whole industrial ecosystem did not support proliferation of those technologies. You didn't have enough material for that. You didn't have enough manpower for that. So it took a certain time for those technologies to come into market. And by the time your patent and all expired. And I think Hitachi is an example. They actually invented the display devices first. They got early patents, but somehow could not commercialize. So after a few years, other giants took over and they had difficulties in marketing their products. That's I think a story which we read from Hitachi, that they had early patents to display devices and took over when ecosystem was ready for display devices. So that's how. So we have to work in tandem with the whole ecosystem, and ecosystem is now being built with a lot of efforts from Adult Incubation Center support, startup support, and then NRDC is doing we are doing our own bit, and everybody is pitching their hand, and everybody has to join together. So if you look at bicycles, there are patent classes, so many patent classes for different items. So if bicycle can have different patent classes, then you can really assume how many patents there would be on bicycle, and still you are having patents on that. I'm not going to this, just mention about this. See, if we really have to systematically do innovation, there are theories, and I'll not talk about all theories. There's one theory called trace. This is one of those theories. You have white space analysis. One of the theory proposed by Russian scientists to study patent, and he proposed the principles of innovation. So 40 principles of innovation and 12 contradiction. If you are able to handle those 40 principles of innovation with 12 contradiction. See, if you look at automobiles, if you reduce the weight, the fuel efficiency will increase. So how do you reduce the weight? Lightweight frames and all. And then contradiction would be very weak. So how do you handle this contradiction? With change, which is desired for the improvement. So likewise, he proposed 40 principles of innovation. And there are a few principles. An example, I think you can go and read. I'll not go into details of this. Based on this, we proposed a new methodology of engineering future products. So we named this method of core engineering. I did with some of the MTech students from 2-3 universities with some case studies. So you study the patent documents, apply the twist principle, do white space analysis, and come up with a new product, which you conceptualize the new product. So then you develop your IP around the future engineered projects or processes, which is possible. Now you see the principles, like there are 5 things. Can you take out one thing from that? So that's the one principle of innovation. And if you take out one, then there will be a contradiction. So how do you handle that contradiction? If you have to heat something, freeze it, then it will have a contradiction. If you overcome that contradiction, can you come up with a new product? So these handling with these principles, so you can use one or more principles for coming up with a new product. So these are the systematic method of doing innovation. So we actually conceptualize this framework where you have data set, which is the current data set, which you can talk about the technology information which is available in the form of patent or non-patent. Based on that, can you conceptualize future problems or future solutions? So known solutions and known problems is the current status. How do you assert into future? Is this entire framework where you can use a systematic method which we really developed. So I think I have consumed all my time, so I'm not going to this theory to be explained to you. If you have personal interest, we can really discuss. I can share these documents with you. But if we use patent information for building our future and creating future intellectual property, so it's not only, so the future is always unfold its own way. So our job is to really peep into future, means see beyond which is not visible to the common man with certain established technique that is not going to be 100% correct. But if we really have to deploy intellectual property rights in building systematic future, how we can do that is relevance of a patent information on foresight. So if we really plan our future, how we can utilize this information at the time of scoping of our foresight, which kind of future we want to build, and how do we recruit right people. As an recruitment means engaging people. I will not say recruitment means literally recruiting them against a salary. I say recruitment in foresight, we say engaging people for the building future. Then generate what they will generate, analytics. Then what are the actions to be suggested based on those patent analytics and patent information? See, if we utilize that as a base, then we will be able to generate more patents, more patenting, more IP, and we'll be able to understand how people have exploited and used IP. I think I should be finishing this here. This is what we have been doing for last 25 years. This is the scheme Dr. Sahu talked about, where we have given training and Prime Minister interacted with Nari Shakti Puruskar people, and when we got it, this last year we distributed certificate, and we are contributing 10% patent agents in the country from this scheme. So active patent agents in India, 10%. And this year also, we were 13% of total patent agent clear in this year were from this scheme. So this scheme is contributing as a nation in that at that level. And I think women who wants to use this scheme, I think one of the user is here, and you can interact with her and can get more information rather than me saying about my scheme, but users say something would be more useful. So that's how I think we should plan and look into future, and should be able to visualize the changing landscape of intellectual property.
Super. Thank you very much for telling about how TIFAC has been contributing to the country and the kind of tools you use and predicting, because prediction is very important, how giving a direction to the top decision makers how to go ahead. If they are blind, like in a war, if you cannot predict properly, then you are going to lose. So in intellectual war, that's a knowledge war that's going to happen in a couple of years. I think we are already near the war front, so intellectual war front. So IFAC is the one that actually does true prediction, but the prediction is not based on looking at the stars or some kind of things, but really taking science and technology and the tools to predict and help the nation. By the way, how many have you seen this movie, Lion King? Wow, good. So there is one character called Timon, and he's lost somewhere. It's a basically meerkat. So a Rafiki is a mentor who comes and tells, you look beyond what you see. That's the dialogue it says. Look beyond what you see. And he doesn't understand, he simply looks. He sees a big rock and he simply walks away. And once he goes there, he sees the future king, the Simba. Okay, so that's the TIFAC. The Rafiki is the TIFAC who says, look beyond what you see. So that's the day where you have ended with the, looking beyond what you see is the next 25 years. And I'm sure we are going to meet in the developed country soon. Okay, so with that note.
Yeah, I think I would like to add what you said now here. When you say what look beyond, but what Minister says, you see what you think, what your mind thinks.
Yes.
So when we see here, we'll be able to identify only which our mind thinks. There are so many things. The bottles lying on the table color. We don't actually analyze everything. So what our mind thinks, we see. So when we see future, the thinking faculty should be at job.
Exactly. That's the tools we need now. So thank you. Now we are back from the time machine. So we have right now in Alexander Grant.
Answered or still pending?
So you want to take some questions quickly? Yes, please. Again, they will not be available. They are pretty busy now. Anyone? Can you pass on the mic?
That's okay, sir. I'll sit down.
Yeah, I will listen here. I'll also not use mine.
Sir, very good morning. That was a wonderful panel discussion. I have learned so many things. First, I came to know that Shivkiran is a food lover, and because he's giving all examples related to food.
Can you introduce yourself?
I'm Dr. Shweta from Satyasai University, sir. This is the lighter note, sorry. Sir, two questions I would like to ask. Coming to the fresh question from Yashwant sir session. Sir, you said the first title itself was very fantabulous, Developed India. So this is so catchy and so interesting. So hopefully we see Developed India soon. Sir, I would like to ask a question. Like you said, ancient technology can be used for future. So say for example, you have developed a prototype and design. Can I use your design which is not copyright or patent, maybe some reasons? Can I use your design for my product development?
See, if my design has not been protected,
My technology has not been patented, anybody can use it. So only patent technology you cannot use.
So here legal considerations are there. What about ethical consideration?
See, if we talk about ethics, if you acknowledge them that this is technology designed by such and such person. So beyond that, there is no ethical issue because that the system has been created. So if you wanted to protect, you're supposed to protect. And the knowledge is not actually a property of one. And knowledge does not come to one. So one idea may occur to 10 people simultaneously in this world. 10 people would be simultaneously doing. If I did it, doesn't mean that only I did it. You also could have done it. So
if I mention your name, there is a no problem. No
if you have taken from my...
No, sir, if you are not copyright, not registered itself. Sir, I'll come to the point directly because I have read in the research papers like the Vaimanika Shastra, if you see, the design is already there in Vaimanika Shastra, how an aeroplane can design, how an aeroplane can fly. But, Wright brothers, as we all know, Wright brothers got patented. Are design patents still with Indians or product patent goes to US or what is this?
It's with nobody. Wright brothers patent expired 85 years ago.
At least that credit
They
also
also
will
don't
get
have
presented.
patent, we also don't have. Nobody, we can use what Wright brothers did. We can use Wright brothers design freely and they can use our own.
At least they could enjoy that credit for a period of time. At least they could enjoy that credit for a period of time.
Yes, they could at that point of time and they could have, because see, our ancestor our Viman Shastra, this is a lot of time has elapsed. So at that point of time they would have enjoyed the IP.
No, sir. At least that name. At least they would have mentioned, as you said, the ethical consideration.
I really don't know whether they have taken from that Shastra or they are designing independently.
That's why, sir. There is no clue. If I copy your design, is that ethical consideration I am infringed or?
This is just an ethical question. You have to be more ethical and you should, if you have copied, you should refer. That's all.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, another question to Dr. Sahu, sir. Sir, you said, out of ignorance I'm asking, sir, this training sessions you are giving to the women, is it online or offline, sir?
See, these days, now physical is more than digital, but during 1920, digital were more practical than physical. So depending on time, situation and interest. And these days nobody is listening in digital. Even people are attending, but if you ask who are there, nobody will show their face. They might be the kitchen or they might be in the so trust khatam ho gaya. So that kind of have, this is something, seeing is believing. ना आप लोग बिंदी लगा के खड़े हो, आपको देख के मैं बात कर रहा हूँ. So this is the interest will come, and also the curiosity will come, and also collaboration of many opportunities are there. So I think these days, thanks to the Almighty and also our great inventor, particularly the Covishield, Covaxin. So we are in. I do my booster round. Sir, I have second booster round. So this is here. We are mitigating the challenge because of our new invention and innovation we are using and understanding. So physical is better to get more orientation, to get more opportunity and other things. So I will certainly go for physical.
If, as you mentioned, we have to change as per the demand. If impact and demand is there, would you mind, giving training sessions to the women scientists online, sir?
ये तो है. आप जब बोलोगे हम तैयार हैं, हम इस मामले में ready हैं.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Sarah.
One more, sir.
Actually, we have a lot of questions on this.
I'm Dr. C.P. Ramakrishna from Raman Engineering College. This is not really a question, but just going into the past. So if we see how a wife and husband should be, already Trimurti has already given. So Saraswati has given his, Brahma has given the voice to Saraswati. The same way, Lakshmi, Vishnu has given in Vakshasthala. And third, Ardhanarishwara. So these three. And other than that, there is one more. Now, recently they found out that there are two stars which are roaming around each other in a different orbit, not centralized, not like traditional solar system, Arundhati and Vasishtha. And there is one more relevance, that is Pythagoras theorem. They used to make yajna, which is perfectly a square. So like this, if we find there are many instances, can we at least now say there were many instances in India which led to these kind of theories and which are being enjoyed by somebody else without relevance to India? Can we say that, please? Any thoughts in this direction? Thank you. And I am ready if some more examples are needed.
I understand. See, this has been debated in many places and it's been going on. Probably this is the reason recently there is an academy government is pushing. It's called Indian Knowledge System, IKS. Right? One of the professor from I think Mahadeva from IIM Bank is leading that group. Probably it might come in an NEP 2022 new education policy. Maybe that time we can discuss, but this may not be relevant here. But somewhere you are touched with mythology things and and Indian past. So probably that is the reason you asked this question.
Can we raise the IPR at least to say these?
No, that is it.
And nobody should raise in these areas. Can we at least protect now?
I say that we can discuss till the cows come home. But I don't know whether they'll come anytime soon.
I need an answer for this now.
No.
It is IPR and somebody is raising IPR which we know.
Can I interrupt?
Yes, please.
See,
Certain things documented has to explicitly document the knowledge which we think that is ours, and it should be converted into vertical product. So we had this case of neem patent, we had this case of healthy patent, we had this case of other health-related patent. So that actually gave us energy to really answer or handle such an issue. And the problem which your mind is the puzzle, why should anything be done for that? So the Government of India did come up with a library called Traditional Knowledge Digital Library, where they have documented various formulations from traditional practices and traditional practitioners and shared with patent offices of select countries. So See, patent office in United States will not know what was the traditional knowledge in India because if it is not documented. So we documented and given it to these patent offices. So not to grant patent on our traditional knowledge or not to claim patent on our traditional knowledge. And as Indian patent office itself provide protection or protection may be a wrong word, the
Awareness at
immunity to get the patent,
Yes.
which is mere aggregation of a traditional knowledge. So section 3, non-patentable inventions, there is a particular section which says any aggregation of traditional knowledge, no patent can be granted. So this has been protected in Indian system by this traditional knowledge which has been made available. Now, this year, the month back, Government of India has decided to make this traditional knowledge library accessible to all. So it is now accessible to us, and we can proudly say which is the traditional knowledge belongs to us. Nobody can have patent for that. That has been protected, and the work in that direction going on. There's a separate organization working on that DKDL. You want to add, Dr. Saab?
And in this area, sorry if I'm asking this.
Sir, we can do it in the
It is not
network.
so. It is better that everybody knows. I'm sorry if I'm saying this. It is like why Dronacharya has taken the thumb of Ekalavya. That wrong knowledge has been passed on. So can we correct it? Is the point.
See, I will say sometimes history reflects the culture and civilization of our society. And Indian society, I will say being Indian, we are proud for our Vikramasena, our Harappa, Mohenjo-daro Harappa. So that there was a great heritage innovation at that time also. And in the same way, I will say Mahabharata also talked about Atma. And science also talked about related to that. So these are some of the connotation and words we bring to create interest among our people to connect our past, connect our history. And because we are part of the diversity of culture, so that is example we give. And particularly, I will not say or I don't have any establishment to tell the truth. But sometimes we talk when this Corona period, everyone asks me, you read Bhagavad Gita because you will get energy. Even yes, true. It has even when I was reading Bhagavad Gita, when Lord Krishna told, there is a thing in that he is telling Arjuna कि ये जो देख रहे हो सब माया है एंड तुम मेरे शरण में आ जाओ एंड उसका सब मैं प्रक्रिया किया तो कहने का मतलब है दिस इज द स्टोरी एंड दिस आई थिंक वी मस्ट नॉट वी कैन डिस्कस सेपरेटली
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for being so charismatic and with your subtle sense of humor and spellbinding session. You really engaged our audience. Now, I request Professor Nagabhushan Raju, sir, to come and honor our guest and felicitate them. Thank you. Now I request Raju sir to honor our guest B.K. Sahu sir, Dr. B.K. Sahu.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, now we'll be waiting for tea and snacks, and we'll be meeting sharply by 12:10. Thank you. Please go and grab your cup of tea.
Good to meet you. Okay. I mean, our session started at Party. I mean, I was there at Party and we started. So it was fun. And it was a nice learning. What you did? Okay. Okay, good. You're connected. Very nice. So we will have a session now. Yes, sure. Not yet. I will just come back, but then I was saying it. Nice.
Somehow yesterday evening we energized about your discussion.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah,
Yes.
I was
so did
there.
you enjoy?
Yeah, I absolutely enjoyed it.
A lot of learning, right?
Yeah,
Without knowing.
Yes.
The idea, somebody came and said, oh, I wish I could have understood the rules properly. That's how life is. Even though we said, but then they will do what the mind says, right? That point.
Yes, exactly. At some point you mentioned that a machine can execute the directions by a person, but a person can understand the whatever executions in his mind, and he can manage to, of course, he can manage to, fabricate.
And this morning it was a fantastic thing from one of the colleges from Guntur or near that place. So he was having breakfast with me, Shiva. So it was nice conversation around yesterday's thing and what he said, and he could relate so well and beautifully articulate it, saying what happens in the mind, right? So the conditioning which happens. It was fantastic, which otherwise it takes years for me to even share that. So it all happened in that 1 hour that we all played. Right?
That may not be sufficient to share that.
So
I read two books, The Found and The Incredible Trends. It's outstanding books. That entrepreneurial line and innovative line, those two books are very useful. The Found and The Incredible Trends. Inseparable.
Yeah, today.
Yes, that thing you printed at the backside of that card you shared.
They're all IPs, right? So I'll just come back. Yes, I'll join.
How are you?
Fine, sir. How are you, sir?
Anyone, if they don't acknowledge their work, you will ask a question. That is a plagiarism.
Yes, sir.
It took a lot of time to get so many cases. First have your coffee or
share and present, so you should also be sharing and presenting. or sharing ideas. Yeah, when you are there. Yes.
So then what about my childhood?
That's what today you will get a chance. That's why I want you to participate. So I will acknowledge and give it to you.
Yeah, helps.
Yes.
So I'm waiting for the testing of the nutrition.
What's your name? You said Shweta. Yes.
Lean remotely.
Yes, right from IT harvesting, graphic, we have separate research department. So we also do research and then binding prosecution, not only in India but mainly in the Philippines. Yes.
Is it HDMI port or other port?
I request all the participants to come and join the session as our next speaker is ready to take the session. So our next speaker is so charming, and in fact you don't need any introduction, especially after yesterday's event. That is, for that I call upon Jyoti to introduce
and love to inspire enterprises and entrepreneurs to innovate and guide them to grow in the right direction. He has also been a catalyst for 250 plus ideas to have become commercial realities. He is passionate about sharing his practical knowledge of building companies and nurturing ideas. Though his talks, training programs and workshops has inspired over 1 lakh professionals and students. He believes new age leadership is driven by innovation.
Good morning. I'm sure you all had a good time. Some food for your tongue. So very good. I'm seeing that people are settling down. Do settle down quickly. I think, wow, so everybody's silent. So let's make some noise too. So it's going to happen because we are talking about the missing link, right? And how do we monetize? How many of you have created some intellectual property? So let's have some hands. Very good. You have some intellectual property, the rights with you. And how do you know that you have the rights with you? So how do you know? So there are ways, and this program is all about that. So what we will do is look at the link, which is the missing link, and what could be that missing link, such that our value for our ideas are enhanced. Okay, so we are going to be looking at that, and that's going to be the incubator. But before that, I just wanted to introduce you to the book Inseparable Twins. So yesterday we were, those who were there, some of you were there. This book is about to inspire young minds. This is a book about to inspire innovation and entrepreneurship. Okay, so there are 3 characters in this book. You know, a big guy, and he is a very intelligent, smart guy, and you know, very creative, lucky, happy-go-lucky guy, and does not worry about much things. You know, but he just goes gets things done. Okay, that is who he is. And naughty also, and he says he's very creative. So, but on the other side is okay. And very happy says is synonym to happiness. Proppy says she is synonym to prosperity. And she means and eventually becomes their mentor, because these 2 guys think they are very innovative and they are brimming with ideas and they want to become entrepreneurs. And these guys have a lot of intellectual knowledge, and hence, because it's their head, they think they have the intellectual property, and which is their inside. That is who they are. Okay. So with that, you know, you guys want to know more about them, see how they behave, what they do. Anybody interested to want to know more about Appy and you know the Proppy? Okay, cool. So here they are. This is Appy recently. Okay, look at what he's doing. No rules apply. You know, he just crosses. That's a railway crossing. And a muted. This is a friend who shared in, you know, it happened in Kerala. Okay. So yeah, look, Bindas. So got his way and started moving. No chains can hold him. No bars can stop him. So intelligent, creative guy just crossed and went. You know, so that is happy fit. Okay, Proppy. You want to see Proppy? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So this again, other farmer friend of mine. She is an intelligent guy. Created many patents, IPs, and business out of that. So his staff were, you know, transporting bananas in Kerala. So they shot that into Proppy. So they wanted to share this with us. This is Proppy in action. The little one got angry. Job done. Right? Interesting, no? Look, what did Proppy do? Proppy is the big elephant, okay? Not the small one. Small one was like, you know, saying, hey, it thought it could do what it wants. And it knew no big wall is a wall. It just wanted to climb, but then it couldn't. So it tried and tried. And then struggled, then went. So what did Proppy do? With its power that it has, it could have just pulled or just pushed, and the little elephant would have been on the other side. It didn't do that. So what did it do?
Giving the support.
Yeah, which way? Actually, leadership by example is what Proppy was demonstrating.
Yes.
Got off and showed.
Showed the path.
Yes, absolutely. So showed the path, figured out, and the little one was so intelligent. It was able to look at it and climbed, and it tried, and you know, got the technique. If you see the difference between earlier situation and now, it learned the technique, and then the effort, and then the little support, a little push. Even eagles need a push. So elephants also, when it happened, it found its way. and it could cross over, right? So in fact, this is an example of why you need that support for these ideas, and what you can achieve. You can cross over and move forward, right? So with Happy and Proppy teaching us these lessons, you'll have to be careful, right? And when you're talking about the intellectual property, just because you are tall, you're big, and you are like majestic, you just can't cross over. If a train had come, then it's sorry figure, right? And it would have hit, and the elephant would have been gone. Because the train is more powerful, coming at that speed, right? So, and that means some rules, regulations are there, so which you need to follow. So that is when you possess that. And your life is very precious, your creation is very precious. So you need to take care and protect, right? One side is creation, the other side is in terms of managing it. And how do you achieve your results? And these are two things. And who can do that best? How do you create that environment? Let's see what Happy and Proppy got to say. Okay, so these guys wanted a story when they met with Lucky, and they said, we want to hear a story, because they love listening to stories. How about you all? You want some story? Okay, no, louder. No?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, good. So, and for that big yes in the front, right, she needs to get something. And by the way, there are some goodies, okay? Happy, Proppy, they love, if they're fed, they're happy. Otherwise, they feel bad, okay? There are some chocolates, the Chocolatious, which Happy and Proppy are seated inside, okay? So, let's see who's going to win. So here is the story, and this is a true story which happened in Japan. Okay, I thought our friends, Japanese friends are there, and they would probably love to know what happened, history of theirs. Once upon a time, in a shop, there was a lady who went shopping, and ladies love shopping, right? So she went shopping, got a lot of things, and some groceries, cosmetic items, and several things. So she got, and when she got, she found that when she was unpacking, there was one soap box and there was no soap inside. Like a Japanese lady, right? She said, how could this be? I paid, this is my favorite brand, and there is no soap in the box, only the box there. How could this be? So she called. And she called the customer care, somebody responded, and they said, okay, they heard the problem. You bought soaps, but there's a box and no soap inside. It's very strange, and nobody ever had given that kind of a complaint, but this is the first time that they hear it. Just imagine you got this chocolate and there was no chocolate inside, only the box. How would the feeling be, right? How many of you want this chocolate? Oh man, serious competition with Happy and Proppy also joining. Let's see. So this complaint was registered. Then, being a Japanese company, they wanted to focus on quality, customer care was so much that they said we have to look at this. And they looked at and the conveyor belt, and it was not at a particular frequency. There was a lot of soaps when they are getting manufactured going on to this conveyor belt. The box would be there, the soap would get filled, and then it gets packed, gets into the carton, and gets shipped. Okay, the logistics kicks in. Randomly, tens of thousands, one was going away without a soap in it. They figured that out. They did the root cause analysis and figured out. But it was not at a particular frequency. So what do you do? Now, if it was a particular frequency, maybe you can put some algorithm, and this is many, many years ago. Unlike now, there's so much more ideas that you could have for solving that problem. But they were wanting to solve this problem. So what they did, got the engineering team, they created an incubation environment for some of the great minds, engineers to sit and work, and they did. But this problem was reported and told. This is what is happening. Where this lady who reported that there is a soap box but without a soap reached out. So then these engineers solved the problem, and they created a wonderful solution which is a robotic arm would be there, and so it will knock off if it is an empty box, because there are infrared beams which are cutting across and going through these boxes, and if there is no soap in a box, then in the X-ray machine which is there scanning, and then there is a monitor and there's a little button, and somebody can see that and they will just press the button, the robotic arm will come, knock off this box from the conveyor belt. And it was a successful project. They spent a couple of millions of dollars, and they said, okay, here we are. So they thought, why not share this wonderful thing to everybody, even in the shop floor. So they went down to the shop floor where this manufacturing, the packing and all would happen. So when they did, round of applause was happening. Was it a wonderful thing? Did you all like it? Right? And there was one hand which went up, and when they made an announcement. So they said, hey, you have some clarification. He said, no, I have a suggestion. So they said, what is the suggestion? He said, why did you guys have to do all of these, $2 million, and there's conveyor belt, X-ray machines, infrared beams and all that, if the problem is just about eliminating the box which has no soap in it, just put one big fan, next to the conveyor belt, and if it is empty, it will fly off. Alright. So, okay, so interesting, is it? And some claps also. I can relate to, Indian, typical Eastern jugaad, right? So this is, one side is frugal thinking. The other side, there are two types of thinking here. So what kind of thinking? Okay, you're going to get a chocolate.
Critical thinking.
Huh?
Critical thinking.
Critical thinking, okay.
Thinking of
Logical.
Thinking out of the box.
Eliminating the root cause.
Okay. So interestingly, there are two styles. The one which had the conveyor belt or robotic arm, the scanner, all of that is long process, okay? But that was system who said, oh man, he just knew when to complete, okay? So here you get. So system thinking, right? The systematic approach towards solving a problem. Right? That is Proppy's way, right? Wow, yesterday you wanted it? Wow, okay. They say, right, if you really want it, the whole universe will work towards making it happen for you, right? So, what's your name? Vamshi Reddy. Okay, very good. So he did a little match fixing. He's the guy who sent me at 1 o'clock in the night LinkedIn request and said, present Vamshi Reddy here, and so he made his presence here, right? The other, which is the fan and blowing it off, interesting. So, what kind of thinking is that? What style? Huh? Manual? Okay. No. Conventional? Huh? Unique? Both are solving problems. Thinking out of the box. Okay, this is all about pushing the box out. Okay. Creative thinking. Very good.
Innovative.
Okay. Both are innovative. Actually. Yes.
Design thinking.
Design thinking. Okay. So a lot of thinkings are coming out, right? Actually, it is an example for frugal thinking. I already said that. I thought somebody would have got it, but nobody did. Cheap thinking, nothing wrong, because actually frugal thinking is about the cost-effective ways, and so which one did you like? How many of you are with systems thinking, and you like that? $2 million, and then system and process and procedure, and how many of you? It's Proppy style, okay? So how many of you for that?
System eliminates majority of the things. That's a different issue.
Okay, how many? Oh, you are for the Proppy?
System. Yes.
Okay, Proppy. That's Proppy's. Okay, two of them. Okay. Oh, slowly Proppy is popping. How many of you for happy where put a fan, pause and blow it out? Okay. So cool.
I need both.
Oh, you need both? A fan and a conveyor belt. Too much. Okay.
Happy
money that you have in your bank. Very good. So here, because it was a corporate incubation center, they gave the money. So the other is frugal thinking. So now the question is, what insights did you get from this story? I would like to hear some insights that you got from this story. And the good insight will get a chocolate, sweet. If it has to be sweet.
We have different ways of looking at the same problem.
Fantastic, but you already have a chocolate, so I'm not giving you one more. Or rather, we will teach something. So that's a good one. Okay, let's hear some more. You want a chocolate? And you know what she said? She's been in the voluntary group, okay? So yesterday I got introduced. So these are students who want to be a little extra. And she's been instrumental in creating, if we are all seated and they had a website to connect all of us and showcase the program, all of that, that little effort has come from her side. Right? So that little extra effort. And for intellectual property, and yesterday she was very keen that she wanted to win this. And she was coordinating. So she said, I said, today you will have a chance. So today she said, no volunteering work outside when my session is starting. She closed the door, ensured that nobody can go out nor come inside. So that she is also inside and she wants to participate and win this also. Right? So
She has already done the groundwork and she is eligible now.
Fantastic. So you are the person who will give it to her. Come.
Yes, sir. Why not?
Yes. So this is Ramakrishna, not from Tenali. Right? So this is for her. Fantastic. So what insights did you get?
Anybody can suggest, anybody can innovate irrespective of the stage career.
Fantastic. Anybody can innovate. Did you all guys know that only 5% of the people think that they are innovative? Only 5% of the people. And there is a need for an environment to help. Others can also, right? And this is exactly what you are saying and the insight that you got. So you are getting a chocolate for that. Any other insights? Oh, there are some more chocolates to be won. Okay. Now, chocolate incentive, right? IPR, intellectual property, if there is no incentive, nobody wants to. So now you understand why monetization is important. It's form of, actually, the reward is a form of monetization. She already got it.
Excuse me, I would like to say something in this area actually. It is like,
No,
I came to understand.
I want you, do you have an insight from this story?
Yes, one way we can say that I can relate. I can relate.
Yeah, otherwise,
no problem, I am not worried about the chocolate, but...
no, it's not about the chocolate, it's about the time,
Yeah.
which is an issue.
Sure. Thing is, I came to understand that the people who are little lazy wants to find the shortest way of doing things.
Okay.
So, majority of the times, they are innovators.
Okay,
That's what I
fantastic.
heard. And here in this case, Happy is following the path, but in case there is some issue that a lorry comes fast, should have pulled. We don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, scenario.
Okay, so good. So the insight here is, either way, you need to have that freedom, but at the same time, you need to watch out and get some support. Okay.
Say that this is good for all the cases.
Okay.
So, see, I heard about, right?
Okay.
Message in WhatsApp. Tamil Nadu, they want to place a big tunnel. So they announced 1 crore. So anybody can bring the proclaim, put it. One common person, they came and they suggested ice, just a very big ice. He completely filled with ice and then drag it in.
Okay.
So they, with the help of motors, they pull the water.
Okay.
Slowly it is placed inside. So depending upon the subject.
So what insight did you get from this? What's the major difference between the two?
So we have a sense where we can apply happy, where we can apply.
Absolutely. So one main point is there related to, I'll give you a clue. This is related to IPR. So let's see who gets that insight between that systems thinking approach which happened and the other is the frugal thinking. Okay, both are innovative. And in this case, here both solves a problem. Okay, and the end objective is met. But is this approach better or the other approach better? Okay, so there is one important aspect which I am looking for. Not preferred, it is a requirement. Fantastic, here you get. So, in the first one, there is an IP out there, and IP which as rights you can. Wonderful. So, whereas the second one does not have that, that's one of the key things. In fact, the ISRO in my book, a little extra that, which is writing. So I had opportunity of I wanted somebody to acknowledge in every field. So one of the field is science and technology. When I had a chance to meet with A.S. Kiran Kumar, who used to be then the chairman for ISRO, and he was the man behind Mission to Mars. Right? And then at that time the movie had not come. So now you could easily understand and relate the amount of systems thinking and even frugal thinking. Don't underestimate. The making of the puri and the whole idea stuck from that, right? So how you switch off the engines and you still carry on with the momentum that it can bring, but how that aspect can be designed in a way that you can actually get intellectual property rights if there is a method to that. In fact, you asked one question to him, and I was looking at, one is, are we IPR in the context of protection, or we want the Indianness to be known, the origin, and these are all origin which is there, the traditional things. So that is the typical academician's approach. Okay? If you wear the hat of an entrepreneur, I would switch the question. And I would rather look at knowing or probably tapping into our ancient wisdom. Why not use the Pythagoras theorem? Why not use those Arundhati and these stars, but create a model and a framework? We are actually intelligently tapping into our ancient wisdom, creating new structures and frameworks, which only Indians can do. Can we? And if we do, the whole world, you all will benefit, whole world will benefit. And it's more sustainable, because these are time tested, but not necessarily the patent approach of patent was not there. So hence lost. So as entrepreneurs, and especially why incubators are required, that's the missing link. We have the ancient wisdom, we have young talent, and how do we bring that together and nurture that? So tap into that, create IP. If you don't have it, you can't give it. So once I was invited to speak, Swami said, go get patents. So I said, no, here it's love all, serve all. It's all about free, everything is free. Education is free, then food is free, healthcare is free, everything is free. Then why patent? Right? And then when I got a little more anxious to know about it, why is Swami asking people to get patents? Then the more deeper that I could go, then I understood you can give it only if you have it. Right? So once you have the patent, then you say use it. Right? Somebody wants to monetize it is one part. Here, monetization as money is not the key thing. It's the impact. And if you don't want others to actually use this, you might be very philosophical and not wanting to make money out of it. Very well. But at the same time, if it should be used in the right form and the way, then you need to own it. Then you will be able to give it. Right? Such a wonderful thought, and have we thought about it? And if we need to do that, we need to know how to, and incubators play a very, very critical role in bringing these education and many things which needs to happen. So let's look at the Appy and the Proppy. After listening to this whole story, they got into a tug of war. Okay? So the tug of war here is the trunk war. They have these trunks, but so they are fighting now. So this side, let's see, you're all on Proppy's side and most of you, and here this side, if it is Happy side, is idea more valuable or the execution more valuable? So guys, this is this side, huh? Okay, but you are on idea side. So now you're different. She said, or you shift there. Okay, okay, go, run. What's your name? Sai Priya, okay, she started, okay. Go ahead, shout out. I'm not here, I'm just watching. So, this is this side of the hall. Those who are in the center, this side half is on idea side, Happy side, and this side half is on Proppy side. Shoot.
So without idea, there is no question of execution. So it all starts with the idea. And if you don't execute the idea remains in idea state. So both goes hand in hand. There is a synergy between these two. So without that, you can't monetize it or commercialize it.
Okay. So you can't monetize, you can't commercialize, so idea is everything.
So the question which he asked about our olden Shastra and all, they are just ideas, right?
Okay.
It is not ideas, they are existing.
Oh yeah, they are executed, right? Say, shout, yeah. So,
they are executed.
Come on, it's all yours, the floor is yours.
Unfortunately, it is not documented for the purpose of Americans or others, but it is existing.
Mythology remains mythology, right?
Excuse me. The way they, yeah,
support her and let's support some trunk war happening here. Go ahead.
See, actually, if you believe or not, Nalanda University was existing, and it has Takshashala, Nalanda, all these universities are existing. And thing is, in order to burn the library itself, it took more than a year, and that too certain books were. So it is like it was existing. That's what I'm saying. It is not an idea, but it is already an existing
existing
place.
is because it was executed.
Executed.
Yeah, you are talking about execution.
And on the other side, of course, she has amalgamated, so I cannot say anything against it.
Okay.
But having idea, just an idea, cannot do anything.
Yes.
Out of 10,000 ideas, one executed will yield results. So execution is most
very
important.
Good. Ideas are dime a dozen, if it is, see, VCs, investors, give only 20% weightage to the idea and 80% to execution. Okay? Whereas the entrepreneurs think it is the 80% of the value is for the idea, because without that idea, what do you execute? Right? And the problem and the execution is so important in terms of execution, but then without that identification, there's nothing, and no idea, no execution. So, in which case, who's right? How do you create value? Right? So that is where incubators again play a role for this idea and the execution to come to life and create value. And one of the value so here it is for defending the idea, and here it is demonstrating for execution. Yeah, Ramakrishna.
Finally.
Yeah, finally, right? So very good. So now, one more question, right? What is that question? How do you multiply value? So, between idea and execution, what is the idea of multiplier, value multiplier? Any guesses? Who said that? Okay, cool. So smart. And here it is for you. So here is, for you, right? IPR. Very true. And what we'll do is, with this idea and execution, catch. Wow, good catch. So you need an ecosystem to create that multiplier effect, and including monetization, right? So there are many things, and the ecosystem is created, and one of the key things is the incubator. Okay, they play the role of the value multiplier, and there is this hard work and the smart work which has to happen. And if especially the hard work of the entrepreneurs, the innovators, if it is hard work, which is also required, they are all inseparable twins, one without the other. They are whole and couple. complete, but when they come together, they unleash new power. Just imagine that hard work done with the support of an incubator that becomes smart work, right? A simple example of an IPR. Wheel itself is a classic invention 5,000 years ago or more. But only 50 years ago, that was fitted to a suitcase and it became a rolling luggage. And it was a patent and it was granted for this rolling luggage by the inventor name. Is any guesses of the inventor name? Bernard D. Shadow. Okay, Shadow. So he got it and he became an entrepreneur. So any guesses? Which company he created? Any guesses? No? Maybe you're using it also. Even now? No? Yes. You get one more. Wow. No, I won't give you this. But I give you something more. Are you an incubator?
No, I'm incubator technology.
Oh, look at that. Then you know what? Happy that we found you. So this is a 4 international award-winning book on bringing ideas for people who are brimming with ideas and managing their ideas. This is for you. Yes. Yes. Sure. So that's for you. Yes, definitely. So because we are happy we found you, right? So that is hard work and the smart work. The incubators change the rules of the game, and I'm sure you're already getting ideas of it. But one of the key responsibilities of an incubator would be how you bring in human values and innovation together as inseparable twins. Otherwise, innovations, the IPR could be dangerous, right? If you don't know how to use it, when to use it, where to use it. That is where you need that protection, okay? Not just protection for the sake of protecting and monetizing, but for the right usage, right? So, in the twin game of identifying that values and the value would continue, and the best way for you to play that game is to do it with the incubators. So the IP creation itself, well, Appy says the game is all about IP creation. I think Proppy says the game is all about IP monetization. So one without the other could be just brilliance, in the mind versus, as intellectual property rights. And if it is monetized well, the society will benefit. And they need to come together, creation and monetization. Then the sustainability happens. So incubators and its roles was the question that Lucky had to answer. And 4 things as roles of incubator in terms of IP things. One is education. Second is the initial evaluation and intellectual property, right, of that, and development of IP strategy and critical stages, and navigate the tech transfers. These are the ways that the monetization would happen, and the 4th, and they can accelerate the whole IP monetization process, creation and monetization. So incubators are in a very, very interesting space of helping both creation of IP and monetization of IP by validation, product development, commercialization, and also for scale. This is where they play a role. But one key thing, last but not least, both integrity and prosperity need to come together when you talk about intellectual property and the rights and the monetization. Out of integrity, man, even though you might make money, but that is not prosperity. Prosperity is a holistic way of growth and the value creation. So with that, I think I would like to say thank you, and just before I thank you, because I know this is all an IP related, IPR related, I have a disclaimer for you, right? And the disclaimer is, this session itself and the information contained in this presentation are provided for general education, and the purpose, general education purpose only, and not intended to be legal activity. Thank you very much for being a part of this program. Best wishes. Thank you very much.
What to say, enthralling, hypnotic, spellbinding, whatever. But he is a master of grabbing the attention of audience everywhere he goes. So that is our Naveen sir. Now I request Dr. B.K. Sahu to felicitate our guest.
So the typical mode is somebody gets felicitated and but somebody for the first time probably it would be person who's felicitated is giving something to person who's felicitated, right?
Sir, 1 minute.
We are happy we found him. And the kind of work that he is doing, all of us should be happy that we found him. Right? Are you all? Yeah. Give him a round of applause. Thank you.